I was celebrating my birthday with my family at a cozy restaurant when a waitress quietly slipped a folded note onto my table. Don't drink that. My heart stopped. On instinct, I swapped my wine glass with my daughter-in-law's. What unfolded 5 minutes later turned my world upside down. My name is Evelyn Harper, and I'm 62 years old. I never imagined my 62nd birthday would save my life while exposing a devastating family secret. It was a crisp Friday evening, and my son, Daniel, had chosen La Bella Vita, a charming Italian spot in our vibrant Riverside, California neighborhood. He knew it was my favorite, or so I believed. Lydia Bennett, my daughter-in-law, sat across from me, her smile tight, which I'd always chalked up to her reserved nature. The restaurant hummed with laughter, soft candlelight flickering on polished tables, and the scent of rosemary and tomato sauce wafting through the air. Daniel ordered a bottle of Napa Valley Merlot for a toast, and I felt warmed by the moment, surrounded by my small family. "Mom, you're glowing tonight," Daniel said, filling our glasses. His warm gaze made me feel cherished, like the luckiest mother alive. Lydia nodded, her smile faint, but I was too swept up in the joy to notice. We ordered our usuals. I went for the eggplant parmesan, my staple. Daniel picked fettuccine alfredo, and Lydia chose a kale salad, citing her diet. Dinner flowed smoothly, with easy chatter. Daniel shared updates about his job at the downtown Pinnacle Insurance office, while I talked about my herb garden and the gentle yoga classes I'd started at the local community wellness center. Yet, a strange undercurrent lingered, a tension I sensed from Lydia. When Daniel spoke to me, Lydia's eyes followed him, her expression unreadable. Her fingers tapped restlessly on the table, and she kept glancing at her phone, not subtly. When it was time for the toast, Daniel stood, glass raised. "To Mom," he said, voice thick with feeling, "for her strength, for raising me with love after Dad's passing, and for showing me what courage means." His words touched my soul, and tears pricked my eyes. Lydia lifted her glass, saying, "To Evelyn," her voice oddly strained, pausing before adding, "A remarkable mother-in-law." The hesitation piqued my curiosity, but I brushed it off. As I raised my glass, a waitress approached. She was young, with dark hair and a neat braid, and leaned in, pretending to clear a crumb, sliding a note beside my plate. The move was so smooth Daniel and Lydia didn't notice. The waitress, Mia Thompson, shot me a piercing, urgent look before hurrying off. My pulse raced. Hidden under the table, I unfolded the note. In bold, hurried script, "Don't drink that. Your life's at risk. Trust me." The restaurant's buzz faded, and I felt detached, like I was in a dream. Was this a prank? Mia's intense gaze suggested otherwise. My wine glass, moments ago inviting, now seemed menacing. I kept my face calm as my mind spun. Daniel and Lydia chatted, unaware. "Excuse me," I said, voice steady despite my shaking legs. "Just need the restroom." I pocketed the note. "I in the bathroom." I reread the warning, hoping it was a mistake. The handwriting was clear, desperate, and signed. Back at the table, I studied Daniel and Lydia. Daniel seemed his usual warm self, talking about remodeling their patio. But Lydia's eyes flicked to my glass, her face taut, as if anticipating something. In a split-second decision, while Daniel signaled for more bread, I swapped my glass with Lydia's. The Merlot looked identical. "To family," I said, raising her glass. Daniel beamed, lifting his. Lydia, oblivious, raised mine. We sipped together. The wine tasted normal, but my eyes were glued to Lydia, watching for any sign. We continued eating, Daniel chatting about a potential promotion, me mentioning a trip to visit my sister in Seattle, Washington. Lydia grew quieter, fidgety. 5 minutes post-toast, she clutched her stomach, frowning. "I feel off," she mumbled. Daniel's face creased with worry, asking if she was all right. She shook her head, blaming lunch, but her face paled, hands trembling violently. "I'm not okay," she gasped, sweat beading on her brow despite the cool air. Daniel stood, steadying her. "What's wrong, honey?" he asked, voice tight. I watched, horrified yet transfixed. Lydia tried to stand but collapsed back into her chair, breathing unevenly, skin graying. "Call 911." I shouted, my voice oddly calm. The restaurant erupted in chaos as diners noticed. The note's words, "Your life's at risk," echoed in my mind. I knew now. I was the target. The ambulance ride to Riverside General Hospital was agonizing. Lydia was unconscious, paramedics working frantically. Daniel gripped my hand, eyes wide with fear. I clutched the note, my only proof I wasn't losing it. Lydia was rushed away. Daniel and I sat in stark, plastic chairs, the antiseptic smell overwhelming under harsh lights. "What happened?" Daniel muttered, raking his hair. "She was fine." I stayed silent, unable to share the note yet, not until I understood. But I knew this wasn't food poisoning. After an eternity, a doctor with a grim expression approached. "Are you Lydia Bennett's family?" he asked. "I'm her husband," Daniel said. "This is my mother." "How is she?" The doctor sat, his posture signaling bad news. "She's stable, but we found toxic levels of digoxin in her blood." Daniel blinked. "Digoxin? It's a heart drug," the doctor said. "In small doses, it regulates heartbeat. This amount was potentially fatal." My stomach dropped. "Was she poisoned?" I asked, voice shaking. "I can't say definitively," the doctor replied, "but this wasn't accidental. We've called the police." Daniel paced, distraught. "Poisoned? How?" My mind raced to the note, to Lydia's nervous glances, and the truth began to crystallize. "This is impossible," Daniel muttered, his voice breaking. "No one would harm Lydia. She's a good person. Who would do this?" I knew the answer, but couldn't voice it yet. I needed more proof. "Doctor," I said, "could someone slip this drug into a drink?" "Absolutely," he replied. "Digoxin dissolves in liquids, and we detected alcohol in her system, which amplifies its toxicity." That was the confirmation I craved. With trembling hands, I pulled the note from my pocket and handed it to Daniel. His eyes widened as he read. "Mom, where'd this come from?" he asked, voice cracking. I spilled everything. The waitress, her warning, my impulsive glass swap. With each word, Daniel's face paled further. When I finished, he collapsed into a chair, drained. "It can't be," he whispered. "Are you saying someone tried to poison you?" "Exactly," I said, my voice firm despite the fear clawing inside. The doctor's expression darkened. "I'll notify the police immediately," he said. "We'll need blood tests for both of you to ensure you're safe." After he left, silence engulfed Daniel and me. His eyes betrayed the struggle to process a truth he couldn't face. "Daniel," I said gently, "I need to ask something. Think hard. Has Lydia acted oddly lately?" He stared at me, pain etched in his features, and took ages to respond. "A few months back, she got overly concerned about your health," he said faintly. "What kind of concern?" I pressed. "She said you seemed forgetful, confused. Suggested we look into care options." His words hit like ice. "Care options? Like a nursing home?" "She mentioned upscale facilities, said you'd be safer with professionals," Daniel mumbled, avoiding my gaze. "Daniel," I said, voice shaking. "I'm not confused. I'm fine." "I know," he whispered, anguished. But she was so convincing, showing me articles on early dementia warning signs. I thought she cared. "What else?" I asked, dreading the answer. He buried his face in his hands. "Last month, she pushed for power of attorney over your finances." "She called it a precaution," he said, voice breaking. I almost agreed, thinking it was responsible. Nausea surged. Lydia hadn't just planned to poison me. She'd laid a foundation to make my death seem natural. "Anything else?" I asked. 3 weeks ago, I found pill bottles in her bag," he said. "She claimed they were vitamins, but I never saw her take them." "What kind?" "Small white pills, multiple bottles," he said. A nurse approached. "Mrs. Harper?" "I'm Evelyn Harper," I replied. "The police are here, and the doctor has new test results." We followed her to a private room where 2 detectives and the doctor waited, faces grim. "We ran deeper tests," the doctor began. Lydia had not only digoxin but traces of other heart drugs, suggesting long-term exposure. My head spun. Someone's been poisoning her gradually? Most likely, he confirmed. Detective Inspector Claire Morgan, a sharp-eyed woman with silver-streaked hair, leaned in. Mrs. Harper, have you taken any medications lately? Noticed odd symptoms. I reflected on recent months. Dizzy spells I'd blamed on age, fatigue I'd dismissed, fleeting confusion I'd ignored. Yes, I whispered. I thought it was just getting older. Daniel gripped my hand. Mom, why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to worry you, I said. Lydia kept saying it was normal for my age. The realization hit. My daughter-in-law had been slowly poisoning me, convincing Daniel I was fading. The monster was within our family. Days dragged like a nightmare. Lydia remained in ICU at Riverside General, stable but unconscious. Daniel stayed glued to me, guilt consuming him. Detective Morgan visited thrice in 4 days, her piercing gaze unraveling the horror of my life. Mrs. Harper, she said in my living room, now tainted by Lydia's deceit, we've dug into Lydia's past. It's troubling. Daniel, haggard beside me, listened. She was a nurse's aide for 5 years before marrying you, Morgan continued. She had access to medications, knew their effects. But why target Mom? Daniel asked. Morgan glanced at me. Mr. Harper, your mother's will names you sole heir, correct? Yes, but that's irrelevant, he said. I'd never hurt her for money. Lydia knew about the inheritance, Morgan said. She pressed you to alter legal documents. I recalled Lydia's helpful suggestions to organize my affairs, her insistence on joining me at doctor's visits, her feigned concern. There's more, Morgan said. We found emails on her laptop researching dementia care facilities, expensive, isolated ones. Plus, searches on hastening cognitive decline and making heart-related deaths look natural. Daniel staggered to the window, trembling. What kind of monster is she? He muttered. Memories flooded back, now sinister. Detective, I said, I need to share more. For an hour, I detailed Lydia's frequent visits, her teas and snacks, how I'd feel drained after, how she'd question my memory in front of Daniel. She'd say, Evelyn, you told that story yesterday, or you just asked that. I said. I doubted myself, thought I was losing it. Daniel turned, horrified. And I believed her, he whispered. She'd tell me you had episodes, and I trusted her. I thought she was being a caring wife, Daniel murmured, voice heavy with guilt. Detective Morgan scribbled notes. Mrs. Harper, any specific incidents stand out? Yes, I said, anger overtaking fear. 2 months ago, Lydia brought homemade stew for lunch, saying she'd made extra. After eating, I felt so ill I had to lie down. When Daniel came over that evening, she told him I was disoriented, claiming I forgot our lunch. And your memory? Morgan asked. Crystal clear, but I was too sick to argue. Daniel took me to a doctor the next day. I was better by then. Likely a virus, they said. Daniel slumped, hands covering his face. She was poisoning you, he whispered. And I helped her make you think you were losing it. It's not your fault, I said, heart aching with mixed emotions. She's a master manipulator. She fooled me too. Detective Morgan closed her notebook. Mrs. Harper, there's more. The waitress, Mia Thompson, is a nursing student. Her grandmother died 2 years ago in eerily similar circumstances. My blood chilled. What do you mean? Mia's grandmother, Clara Thompson, showed sudden confusion and memory issues. Her family thought it was dementia. She was moved to a care facility and died of heart failure 6 months later. Mia always suspected foul play. And how's this connected to me? Lydia Bennett, then using her maiden name, Lydia Grayson, was Clara's caregiver, pushing for institutional care. Silence gripped the room. Daniel lifted his head, eyes wide with horror. My wife did this before? We're investigating that, Morgan confirmed. Mia recognized Lydia at La Bella Vita. She'd been quietly tracking her, suspecting her involvement. Seeing your family dinner, she acted. I pictured Mia's determined eyes, a stranger who cared more for me than my own daughter-in-law. "Where's Mia now?" I asked. "I want to thank her. She's aiding our investigation and wants to meet you too," Morgan said. Daniel's voice broke. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I doubted you. I let her hurt you." I took his trembling hands. "Daniel, Lydia's a skilled deceiver. This isn't on you." "I should have seen it," he insisted. "She played the perfect daughter-in-law. So worried about you. I thought she was kind." Morgan stood. "Mrs. Harper, we need you at the Riverside Police Station tomorrow for a formal statement. Would you meet Mia?" "Absolutely," I said. "I'll do whatever it takes." After Morgan left, Daniel and I sat in heavy silence, the truth suffocating. "Daniel," I finally said, "the worst part wasn't the sickness. It was fearing I'd become a burden, that I was losing your respect." Tears filled his eyes. "You're never a burden, Mom. Never." But when Lydia hinted at my decline, I felt I was losing her love. "She knew my fears," Daniel said. "Losing you like we lost Dad." My husband died of Alzheimer's when Daniel was 25, a slow, agonizing fade. "Lydia weaponized that," I said. "She knew you'd dread me fading like him and used it to manipulate you." Daniel nodded. "It started after Grandma Eleanor passed, leaving you that inheritance. My mother died 8 months ago, bequeathing me a sizable sum for Daniel. Now I saw it sparked Lydia's scheme. She knew about the money," I said, realization dawning. "She knew it all," Daniel said bitterly. "Your will, Grandma's estate, my fears. She built her plan around it." That night, I lay awake, haunted by how close I'd come to losing everything. My life, dignity, and bond with Daniel. Lydia nearly succeeded, but she underestimated a stranger's courage. Mia's bold act saved me. Meeting her at a cafe near the Riverside Police Station, I saw her fierce spirit. Petite, 23, her eyes held a wisdom born of loss. "Mrs. Harper," she said, "I've waited 2 years for this." "Mia," I replied, clasping her hands, "you saved my life." "Thank you." Her eyes glistened, but her voice held firm. "I wish I'd saved my grandmother too." Over coffee, Mia shared Clara's story, chillingly like mine. "Grandma Clara was vibrant at 78, she began. She gardened, cooked, managed her finances. Then she fell at a store, and Lydia, posing as a kind CNA, stepped in. She seemed so caring," Mia continued, "bringing meals, helping with errands. We thought she was a blessing." "When did it change?" I asked. 2 months in, Lydia mentioned Grandma forgetting things, leaving the stove on, repeating stories. She showed us dementia articles, and we started noticing Grandma's tiredness, her confusion. My stomach twisted, recognizing the pattern. "We believed her," Mia said, voice breaking. "Even Grandma doubted herself. She told me, 'Mia, maybe Lydia's right. Something's wrong with me.' That's what Lydia did to me," I said. "She pushed for a fancy care home, Crestwood Manor," Mia said. "We resisted, but she was relentless, convincing us it was best. She guilted us, saying we were selfish to keep Grandma home, putting our feelings above her needs," Mia said, voice cracking. "How long was she at Crestwood Manor?" 6 months, Mia replied, before natural heart failure took her. I visited, and Grandma whispered that Lydia brought special vitamins prescribed by a doctor. "Did you check those?" I tried, but after her death, the facility stonewalled, citing confidentiality. Mia dabbed her eyes. "Grandma had no heart issues her whole life." "What did you do?" I dug deeper, Mia said. "Lydia worked at Crestwood before her CNA job. I found other cases. Elders with sudden memory issues, admitted there, dying of heart failure soon after." "Did you report it?" I tried, but the police dismissed me, saying dementia complications are common. The facility claimed they did everything possible. No one listened to a grieving college kid. But I couldn't let it go. "You didn't give up," I said. "When I saw Lydia at La Bella Vita, it was like seeing a ghost. I'd been tailing her, gathering proof. Her glance at your wine glass, I knew she was at it again." "How'd you know it was the wine?" I saw her slip something in when you and Daniel were distracted. It was subtle, but I was watching. Thank God you acted. Mia nodded. I'm terrified thinking how many others, like Grandma and you, Lydia hurt, preying on vulnerable elders for money and control. Later, Daniel drove me home from meeting Mia. I shared Lydia's chilling pattern. Daniel, one more question. Be honest. Did Lydia mention my will or finances? He stiffened. Yes, 3 months ago. She kept pushing it, saying we needed to secure your affairs with your mental decline. What did she suggest? Power of attorney for me, transferring your house title to avoid future issues. My blood ran cold. And your thoughts? I hesitated, but she insisted it was responsible, that waiting would be reckless. Daniel, did I sign anything recently without recalling clearly? His silence spoke volumes. 2 weeks ago, he murmured. Lydia said you had a bad episode, seemed confused, worried about your finances. She said you asked us over to sign papers. What papers? Limited power of attorney and a will amendment, giving me control if you were deemed incompetent. My stomach lurched. Daniel, I never requested those. Lydia drugged me to make me seem confused, then tricked me into signing. Daniel pulled into a shopping center lot, face in hands. I was such a fool. I should have questioned her, called your lawyer. It's not your fault. She groomed you to believe I was fading. What now? We see my lawyer tomorrow to void those papers. Lydia won't touch a cent. That night, I pored over my financial records. Lydia's plan was clear. Control my estate, isolate me in a facility, and end me like Mia's grandmother. She nearly perfected murder as an art, but Mia's resolve stopped her. 4 days later, Lydia woke from her coma. Detective Morgan called. She's recovering physically but agitated, asking for Daniel and you. Her reaction when told I'm fine? Denial. She claims it's a mistake, insists she'd never harm anyone. She wants to see you. My stomach flipped. Do I have to? No, but confronting her might yield answers. Your call. Fear urged me to hide, but strength won. I'll do it with Daniel there. The next day, entering Riverside General felt like facing a firing squad. Detective Morgan led us through sterile halls to Lydia's guarded room. She looked frail, IVs snaking from her arm, but her eyes held that same cunning glint. Seeing me, she feigned fragility. Evelyn, thank God you're okay. I was so worried, she said, reaching out. I stayed by the door, Daniel shielding me. Lydia, I said, voice steady. We know what you did. Her confusion seemed real, but I knew her acting skills. What? I'm the one who got sick. Someone targeted us both. No, I said. You tried to poison me. A flicker of malice crossed Lydia's eyes, quickly masked by crocodile tears. Evelyn, why accuse me? I love you like family. I'd never harm you. Like you loved Clara Thompson? I asked. Her face hardened, warmth vanishing. I don't know her, she snapped, but her voice betrayed her. Daniel stepped forward. Lydia, we found the pills, your emails, the forged documents you tricked Mom into signing. We know about the money. Her innocent facade crumbled as she sat up. Daniel, everything was for us, our future. Your mother's aging. She doesn't have long. Our future. Daniel echoed, stunned. She'd be better off in a facility, cared for, while we live without her burden, Lydia said coldly. My stomach churned at her callousness. And the money? Daniel pressed. She sighed, like explaining to a child. Money matters, Daniel. She doesn't need it in a care home. You mean killing me? I said, voice steady despite trembling. Her gaze turned venomous. I mean being practical about your inevitable end. And Clara Thompson? Her smile was cruel. Clara was a lonely old woman, already fading. I ensured her last months were comfortable. Her money went to family. Daniel shook with fury. How many others, Lydia? I didn't hurt anyone, she said icily. I eased suffering, gave peaceful exits. Peaceful. I snapped. You poisoned elders to death. Detective Morgan, scribbling notes, spoke. Mrs. Bennet, are you admitting to killing Clara Thompson and targeting Evelyn Harper? Lydia faltered, realizing her slip. No, I meant hypothetically. I'm medicated, confused. Too late. Her true self was exposed. I stepped closer, safe from her reach. Lydia, you made me doubt my mind, feel worthless. But I survived, and I'll ensure you never harm again. Her eyes blazed. Ungrateful hag, she hissed. I offered you dignity. Now you'll waste away in some dump. Daniel lunged, but I stopped him. She's not worth it. She's powerless now. Leaving, I felt I'd faced a demon and won. How do you feel? Daniel asked in the hall. Like I've woken from a nightmare, I said. That night, Morgan called. Lydia confessed to my attempted murder, Clara's death, and 2 others, seeking a plea deal. She'll likely get life without parole, Morgan said. I felt no victory, only sorrow for her victims and relief her terror ended. 6 months later, I wake to peace. No longer checking locks obsessively, I trust my mind. Daniel visits Sundays, our bond stronger through therapy. Mom, he said, I ignored my gut. It was easier to believe you were sick than Lydia was evil. Why, our therapist asked, if Mom was ill, I could save her. If Lydia lied, I'd brought danger into her life. The trial was grueling. I testified for days, Mia too, her courage shining. Lydia's insanity plea failed against evidence of meticulous planning. Guilty on all counts, she got life and I moved to a cozy home near Willow Lake, gardening to heal. Mia, now a friend, finishes nursing school with my support, inspired to protect elders. You showed me they're warriors, she said. I speak publicly, warning of elder abuse, saving others from Lydia's fate. Daniel's dating Laura, met at a victim support group. She's honest, respectful. Mom, he said, I'll never let anyone hurt you again. Just trust me, I replied. At 62, I'm stronger, rediscovering yoga, joining a book club at Riverside Library, painting. Each day is a triumph. Lydia's prison letter, unapologetic and self-pitying, claimed she helped me. I burned it, her last hold on me gone. On my Willow Lake porch, I've lost naivety, but gained resilience, a deeper bond with Daniel, and purpose. My story inspires change, honoring Clara and others. What did you think? Where are you reading from? Share below. If my story moved you, support me with a super thanks to keep sharing tales like this. Check out 2 new stories on my channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more. With gratitude, until next time.